We're back. Season 3 is here. I am so excited. This time last week we had the reveal stream. It's still up on the channel, I believe, so go and watch that if you want to see it. A short stream, but also a really fun stream. Drivers found out their teammates and their cars, most of which you can see on the screen at the minute. And the first rounds of the season is about to get underway. We've got 22 round season for you, which should take us up to the first week in January. So we're going to have 21 races between now and Christmas. A couple of weeks off for Christmas, just to avoid any clashes of schedules, and then we're going to finish off at Abu Dhabi as the final race of the season in the first week of January. We absolutely cannot wait to get this season underway, and it's getting going in 20 seconds time. We hope you're all well. Welcome back to the channel. If you're not new around here and you know exactly what IIRL is all about. If you're new around here, let me just introduce myself. My name is SunGod26, head of streamers here at IIRL. We have a really dedicated team of streamers that you'll be hearing on this channel. Tuesday nights, we kick off our weeks with the No Assist Tier 1 bunch of people. 18 here tonight, ready and racing for round 1, Bahrain. Evening Flu and Shivers, I hope you're well, both driving here tonight, so best of luck of course. And Tay, best of luck on Sunday nights in Assist Tier 2. Cinematic music making this intro very dramatic. It does actually, doesn't it? Hopefully it adds something that the old game was missing. Just waiting for a couple more to load in. Well, we've had a few social races going on behind the scenes, and we know who's at the top of the timing screens. But will we see any surprises here tonight? As always, full qualifying session if we have 16 or more drivers. So 3 qualifying sessions, 18 minutes for Q1, 15 minutes for Q2, and 12 minutes for Q3, where the top 10 go at it for pole position. And we're going to have a 50% race, so at Bahrain here it'd be 27 laps. We are going to have a 5-minute break in between the end of qualifying and the start of the race. More about that later. I have so much to tell you about, it is unreal. I've got a nice little list here of my no assist drivers and the cars they had last season compared to this season. Some of them are in the same cars as last season, but the vast majority of them are in a brand new car. We've got debutants here tonight. We've got people who have been here since the very start of IIRL, and we've got people who have been there in between. It is a wide range of drivers, nationalities in this league. I am very grateful I have this opportunity to stream with you on Tuesday night, so I hope you enjoy my voice for the next few months. Evening to you, Adrian, Deaton, Akaris, hope you're well. I hope you're excited for this new season along with myself. Kicking it off with one of the best performers from last season, Flu 32, 13 races last season, and he finished all 13 in the points on Tuesday nights. What an incredible achievement that was. Can Flu do one better and possibly get a streak of 22 this season? It might just be a little bit too much to ask for at this moment in time. Slap bus on wet tyres. Indeed, we'll have to let him know about that. Not quite allowed. But Flu is going to kick us off for a track tour of this Bahrain circuit, which I'm sure we all know like the back of our hand at the moment. I'm sure everyone's been grinding on time trial for the past few months. a few weeks even. Into turn 1, second or first gear, some people go third, just depends. Pick your throttle on the exit and do not spin through turn 2 and turn 3. DRS activation up until this very tricky right-hander turn 4. Can catch a lot of people out. You will see a lot of people spinning there. Through this chicane, turn 5 and 6 are right left. If you nail it, you feel like an absolute god. Down into turn 7, again very tricky, easy to spin the car on this game as well. Following it up into turns 8 and 9, the double left, downhill, very tricky braking zone, especially with no assists of course, and DRS activation all the way down this straight. Pick your braking point for this left-hander, which widens but then tightens. Pick your line for this right-hander here, the curb of death they used to call it. Touch that curb and you'll spin. It might be a little bit better and safer on this game, but that corner still a bit of a threat to be reckoned with. No DRS down this penultimate straight into the final corner, which is deceptively tricky. That inside curve will ruin you, and a lot of drivers have gone for spins there already, so watch out for that tonight. And Flew sets things off with a 1 minute 30.4. Evening to you, Tucker and Dayman. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying this new game. Hope you're looking forward to the new season. Bahrain, admittedly, is one of my favourite races to call, not only because it's the start of a brand new season, but because generally speaking we don't know what's going to happen. Usually when you have a bit of an idea of who's going to be at the front, who's going to be at the back, who's going to be in the middle, then it can be a little bit predictable. But with this, we just don't know. And with this new patch that has come out, and time trial times have been reset, just in case you're not aware, different performance things have been adjusted and altered. People might need to change their setups last minute for this race, and it's all a bit unpredictable. So we have a rough idea who's going to be near the front. I'm expecting Ghost, as we say that, goes fastest. SmallerSmiley, pretty good. Wiggles did really well last season, wondering if he can pick up from that. Obviously defending champion Ross is back again to defend his title this season. Ryan unfortunately can't make it tonight. He finished second last season, so looking forward to seeing what he can do when he's back racing with us in future weeks. I've heard that Peryjerry, who is a debutant here tonight, is kind of on a similar pace to Ghost, so he might be one to look out for. Slapbus as well, he certainly has some pace in his locker as well. Interesting to see what he can do. The most pole positions from Tuesday night's last season was Chives, or now known as Chivers, so I wonder if he can find that quali pace again for season 3. All these questions left unanswered, and it's going to set up our race tonight rather nicely indeed. As mentioned, drivers change of cars. I believe only one driver has maintained the same car that they raced last season. Actually, no, make that 2. Sorry. Dayman is in the Mercedes once again, and Greg is back in that Alpine. So I'm sure they will be quite familiar with their cars already. But the other 16 drivers here tonight will be racing in different cars from what they had last season. So Kari's currently 5th fastest. Mr. Wiggles, bit of a sighter lap just to see what's going on. But obviously Wiggles can go quicker than that. Deton as well. Nice to have MIT Pete 77 back in our league. Did race quite a while ago. Believe in season 1. I think he won a race in Japan. I might be wrong with that. But nice to see Pete back racing with us. Excited to see what Pete can do here tonight. Not really sure where we're expecting to see Pete, but we'll have to wait and see. Tidy as Bear goes 5th fastest in the early portions of this qualifying session. Ghost currently 1 and a bit seconds clear, and probably will be comfortably through to Q2 on that time. Pete goes 2nd fastest, and that's pretty good, considering this is his first league race here with us in quite a while. SmallerSmiley, another debutant here tonight. He did a couple of, did the last social race or exhibition race, whatever you want to call it. We did a week or two ago, and impressed me very much there. So interesting to see what Smiley can achieve. This Haas battle should be pretty close this season. Tidy Bear and Tucker seeing quite a similar pace based on last season's progress, and currently less than 2/10 separating them in the early portions of Q1. Thank you for the follow, DSQ Snowy, appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying it. It's a brand new season. We are super excited. That guy goes 2nd fastest in his AlphaTauri and has a very strong teammate this year in the form of Ross. That AlphaTauri team could be one to look out for this season to potentially win the Constructors' Championship. So reigning champion Ross has backed off this time. Go again. Go on board then with Mr. Colucci. Drawing towards the end of Season 2, and has put in some pretty impressive races so far. Evening Padge, I hope you're well, mate. Padge was going to race tonight, but problem with his foot, so unfortunately took a step back for the evening. Hope your foot recovers, mate. Slapbus goes quickest. Did say he'd have some pace in his locker, but we weren't quite sure exactly what pace, and potentially has just maybe eat my own words there on a similar level to Ghost, it would seem. Could see a few battles between them two here this evening. Peryjerry P4 on his first flying lap of IIRL. 1:29.6 should comfortably see him through as it stands in this qualifying session. Brand new season, return of featured driver here tonight. Our featured driver tonight is going to be Chivers. In case you're not quite aware, featured driver, we cover as much of your quali and race battles as possible, give you a bit more track time on the stream, and we have asked all the drivers racing this season if they would fill out a short form just so we can get to know them a little bit better. I'll read you some of Chivers' response in the 5-minute break after quali. It's just a way for us to get to know some of our drivers, so we don't just know them by gamer tags and what cars they're in, but actually as people as well. Even if Mr. Wiggles' back end feels loose, well, fingers crossed your back end will behave. Currently on a 30.2, only a 10th away from Ross, so that's not too bad a lap from Wiggles. this stage. I know he was struggling a little bit earlier on in practice. But with this new patch, some people have had to change their setups, some people have had to change their driving style, dare I say it, or, you know, it's almost a bit like a brand new game. Getting used to everything, all the updates and the patches and the altercations. It's very tricky to manage it all. Chivers 5th fastest right now. It's a pretty good lap. It's 2 tenths slower, and he'd be in P9 behind Smiley. So there's a nice little lap there from Chivers. Possibly puts him pretty safe in Q1. That guy taking a little bit too much curb there. That'll ruin his progress on this flying run. Just behind him we got Ghost going quicker in Sector 1. And in Sector 2 he is still quicker than his personal best. Evening Josh, I hope you are, mate. How much money we got on Ross making 5 places minimum on lap 1? Yeah, we did an exhibition race in Austria. Ross qualified 7th or 8th and pretty much was leading after the first corner. It was pretty mad. Game feels alien to me now. Honestly, I felt the same. There were certain tracks that I did today that I had to change everything, so I changed my Baku setup quite a lot. But my Hungary setup I hardly changed at all. '11th to 3rd at Austria and 7th to 2nd at Silverstone for us. Thank you for the confirmation, but yeah, he did gain quite a lot of places. I myself, I'm not used to the starts yet. I'm okay, but I haven't got those good starts yet that some people have already nailed on, so just have to wait and see what happens here tonight. Hope you're doing well though tonight. I am marvellous, mate. I am even better that this new season is starting. End of the first qualifying session is getting underway. So far we got Prev in the pits, and unless he comes out in the next couple of seconds, he's not going to be able to get round for a clean lap. So Prev might be a shock to drop out in Q1. Colucci's on an outlap. Tucker looking to improve too. Dayman is currently the time to beat on a 31.5. 3 drivers leaving us at the end of this session. Tadius Bear has popped himself from 15th into 13th and now has a 9/10 almost advantage on his teammate. But Tucker now, there's a problem with our timing screens because Tucker has just gone, there we go, has just gone faster than his teammate. So Tucker and Tadius Bear, the 2 Hasses, are now safe as things stand. Deaton is now the one to beat. Colucci is back into the pits and Prev has not come out of the pits yet. So them 2 are definitely going to be staying in 17th and 18th respectively, which leaves 1 more to leave us. Is it going to be Dayman, Deaton, Tadius Bear, Tucker? It could be any one of those 4. You think that Akaris and Greg are going to be pretty safe at the minute, but Dayman is going a second faster at this moment in time. I'm not as good at start. Honestly, mate, me too. Me too. I'm not very good at starts anymore. Eventually I'll get the hang of it. I'm sure you will as well, mate. Yeah, Chivers, you are featured driver tonight, so we'll cover you in quali and the race as much as we can. Dayman goes 12th fastest and puts himself safe. Tadius Bear is in the pits, which means if Deton can go 4 tenths quicker in this lap, he will be pushing Tadius Bear out of Q1 in the first rounds of the new season. And round the final corner it comes. It's going to be close. Deton improves by 6 tenths, and unfortunately for Tadius Bear, he will be leaving us in Q1, missing out on a spot in Q2 by half a tenth to his teammate. So Slapbus and Ghost very close at the top there, just 1/4 of a tenth in it. That guy Peryjerry pretty close as well, separated by less than 1/10 of a second. And we've got a whole group of people who are super close. Chivers, Pete, Ross, Wiggles and SmallerSmiley, all within 2 and a bit tenths of each other. Few in the midfield there, Flu, Akari, Stayman, Greg, Deton, possibly be pushing that mid group as well. But of course this is still early days and we're not expecting Prev to be heading out in Q1. He was very, very strong last season. So potentially we might see Prev go on a bit of a charge in the race. Might just be a little bit too busy to do Q1 at this moment in time. Prev can do a lap. There we go. Confirmation for us. Prev starting in 18th and last. So here we go then, plenty of time comparisons to chew on and munch around in our heads for a bit. As it stands, Slapbus and Ghost leading the way. Potentially a sign of things to come this evening. That guy Peryjerry, don't count them out just yet. There might be some time in their laps too. At the other end, Prev Colucci, Tadius Bear will be rounding out Q1 and leaving us in this session. 15 drivers remain, 5 are going to be leaving us in Q2. And a question to you all, how are you finding the new game? Or more specifically, how are you finding the game after this latest patch? Let us know what you think, how you think the game has done. What do you think of the supercars that are in the game now? What do you think of Miami, the brand new track as well? All the different track layouts, the Australia, Abu Dhabi, all of those things, Spain as well. Let us know what you think in the chat. How are you enjoying this brand new game? Much harder, says Chivers, indeed. I think it is much harder. It took me a good week or two to adapt to the way I'm supposed to drive on this new game. Good evening, Snacks, hope you're well. Just asking how you finding the new game, the new patch, the new tracks, the new supercars. Let us know. Enjoyed the game more before the patch, but the handy model seems to feel better with me compared to 2021, so hopefully that translates on track. Fingers crossed. I have to say, Josh, I think you are, if we had bookies here, you'd probably be one of the bookies' favourite to take home the AT1 Championship. Hopefully I'm not putting too much pressure on you. But certainly before that patch you were very, very, very strong. Fingers crossed that patch doesn't hold you back at all. It's harder but feels more realistic. Not sure about the patch, says Dayman. Still quite early days with this patch. Maybe a week's time. Next week here in Jeddah we'll be able to see what things are like a little bit better. Love the new game, enjoyed the patch too. The cars are a bit more predictable but still will bite if you push too hard. Yep, completely agree with you there. I feel like in some ways you can put the throttle onto it a bit earlier, but in some ways it will just bite your head off. It's all pretty weird. I've not quite figured it all out yet. Felt better before patch, but after I was quicker. Good news, mate. And I feel sorry for you. You were grinding some time trial times, all for them to be reset. Fingers crossed. No tears for you there. Mr. Wiggles kicking off Q2. There's his teammate Dayman in front of him on track. Just seen the foreground, so possibly might give Mr. Wiggles a little bit of a tow. But no, just too close and has to get out of the way there. 26th on Jeddah. Well, you can watch Snacks in action on Thursday nights in Assist Tier 1, along with Josh. Fingers crossed this new patch doesn't turn me back into the spin god. That's all I'm hoping for. Dislike the new tier patch. Mr. Wiggles crossed the line 28.9. To wait and see how that compares with everyone else. Chivers 29.9, 1 second off the pace, sorry. Flew not quite into the 29s yet, just a tenth away from Chivers. Tucker 31.2, currently puts him in 4th fastest. Everyone but 3 out on track. Feel more consistent on heavy fuel, which was my weak spot before, so it might help, but I've had to retrain my brain to steer differently, to generate the most rotation. That is, yeah, that's a lot of adaptation that you need to get to grips with for that. It's good thing is, there's something to improve on, something to work towards, and fingers crossed, over the course of the season, you'll be able to find that. Oh, and someone's gone off Deton. Flying off into the barrier in the background. Thankfully, is not out of the session. Might have a broken front wing, but that's easily replaced. Just head back into the pits. And I think, fair to say, Deton has got away with one there. So our first crash, albeit a little fortunate not to retire. First crash of this season. Ross and that guy 2 Alpha Tauri's popping up into the top 3 at the moment. Nothing to separate them two. Currently Ross out on top above his teammate. That could be an interesting inter-team battle. Thank you for the following. Sunny Halley 5. Appreciate that, man. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the stream. As to all our new followers, don't be afraid to say hello. You don't have to, of course. If you want to just lurk, that's absolutely fine. Hope you feel comfortable here on this channel. We stream 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday evening, 7:30 PM GMT. That is UK time. 3 tiers of racing. Tuesday nights is home to the no assist bunch. That is what you're seeing here tonight. Kari's backing off his time, So then we'll go on board with the slap bus, who was quickest in Q1. Sporting a yellow helmet in that blue and red beautiful Williams this season. That's a question as well. What is your favourite car on this game? Could be looks, could be engine noise, could just be arbitrarily the one you support in real life. Feel free to let us know. For me, heavy fuel running felt better before the patch. I haven't done any heavy fuel running since the patch, but certainly I did actually enjoy heavy fuel runs a week or so ago. Can't tell you how many long distance races I've done on this game so far, but enjoying it very much. Car race we saw going slowly. You can go quicker than that, as can Deton as well. SmallerSmiley as well can improve, so although they are the 3 slowest times at this moment in time, it might not be a true representation of where they're at. Mr. Wiggles still holding that top spot, but will Slapbus beat him? Yes, he will, by 1/10 of a second, and that is a nice lap there from Slapbus. You'd think that those top 2 in the 28s would be safe in this session, but we just can't guarantee anything at this moment in time. Ghost is into the pits, no invalidation, possibly has some damage that we don't know about, maybe has a bit of an off somewhere, and wants a new set of tyres. What about Pete? His teammate's currently in 13th. He will beat his teammate, pushing him down to 14th, but where will Pete get to? He'll get to 8th place at this moment in time. SmallerSmiley improves and pops himself above his teammate by 1/10 into 9th place. That's a nice little lap there from Smaller. And Jerry is out of ERS, and this is probably going to be an in lap for him. Kari's crosses the line a few moments ago to do a 31.0. Still 3 or 4 tenths away from safety. So Flew back out on track, Greg out on track too, Tucker, Dayman, Ghost, 6 of them gearing up for laps. Slapbus tiring in the pits. He should be pretty comfortably through. Currently top of the timing screens. And there's a yellow flag, which means I can't tell you how long is left in the session. Patiently waiting for 20 seconds. I believe that is Greg, just making sure that he doesn't wear his tyres out too much before Smiley coming into the pits. 4.5 minutes left. Plenty of time for those in the pits to come back out again for one final run. Some drivers like to get out there nice and early, so you don't have as much track congestion. Flew a little bit wide there into turn 1. I've seen a few people do that. I don't know if it's an intentional line or if it's just a slight mistake, locking the brakes a bit too wide. Maybe it's this patch's responsibility that this is happening. Remains to be seen, of course. Go spun second to last corner, thank you for that. Can't get a good clean lap, but I'll get there. Practice makes perfect, as they say. Fingers crossed for your practice. You can catch Adrian on Thursday night this week. This is Tier 1. Carl Reese and Tucker will be bringing you the streams every Thursday night on this channel. So Flew, currently 7th fastest, and just a 10th improvement here, and he'll go above Chivers into 5th, which will be pretty good and very comfortable for a spot in Q3, but unfortunately will not be finishing this lap. So Flew, that might be the best that he can achieve in this session, unless he is very quick out of the gates once he gets back into the pits. Ghost, you can see they're going 2nd fastest on 28.9, putting himself within a 10th of the Slap Bus and ahead of Mr. Wiggles. Greg back into the pits, so it looks like his session is going to be over, and he is behind his teammate who is knocking him out as things stand. Smiley is back out on track. Akar Reese and Deaton all on out laps along with Chivers. Tucker and Dayman are the two to watch at this minute in time. That guy is also on a lap in Sector 2, trying to beat his teammate and get into the top 4. Tucker, 3/10 to the good. Oh, and that's a spin. Easily done on that corner. He will get round for another lap, Tucker, but unfortunately that one is not the one Tucker was hoping for. Dayman has also backed off his time, which means potentially the one to look out for here could be Deaton. We'll check back in with Deaton in a minute. Shives, our featured driver, looking to push himself into the top 5 in the latter stages of Q2. Maybe not quite sure if he'll be safe or not, so just going out for another run. Maybe he thinks he can absolutely destroy the time he's done, so trying to flex his muscles and prepare himself for Q3. Is up on his time in Sector 1. Just missing the apex at turn 10 there. Shouldn't matter too much, may only have lost half a tenth or a tenth of a second there. Greg not coming out of the pits in time. As we predicted, he'll be starting 11th on the grid unless anyone behind him can't beat him. Chivers a little bit fortunate to not get invalidated there. Around the final corner, Deaton is ahead of him on track. Deaton's time will come through now. He was on a 48.3, he's now on a 31.1, and he stays in the drop zone. Chivers improves by 8/10 and puts his Ferrari in 4th. That is a nice little lap there from Chivers, but Deaton is still under pressure in that drop zone. The time to beat is a 30.5 by SmallerSmiley. Bottle turn 10, says Dayman, who's in the pits and unfortunately will be starting in 15th for the race. Tucker, pressure is on. Akaris finishes his session in 12th, and he will join Greg and Dayman out of Q2, and Tucker unfortunately is half a second off his personal best in this last sector. Deaton, this is an in-lap for him, so no improvements there from the Alfa Romeo driver. So we already know who is leaving us. SmallerSmiley improves by 3 or 4 tenths, jumps up to 9th. And Pete is on a lap, but he doesn't need to finish it. He is already safe. Oh, and Pete. Oh, very fortunate there not to retire. Just pushing a little bit too hard on the exit curb there at turn 14, whatever it is. And very fortunate, I would think, to not crash out of the session. Of course, if Pete would have crashed there and his wheel came off, he still would be in 10th place, but he won't be able to drive in Q3 because of too much damage to his car. So because he's only lost the front wing, he is able to set a lap in Q3, and that's what I mean when I say he is a little bit fortunate. Thought he had more time, didn't realise it quick enough. That's unfortunate, Akaris, but we all have been there. We have all done that at some point in our sim racing experience. So there we have it, Slap Bus Ghost, and now Mr. Wiggles join the parade of drivers hoping for a pole position in the upcoming Q3 session. Chivers is just on that cusp, pushing a 1 minute 28. Fingers crossed he can achieve that in this next session. Ross, that guy, Peryjerry, Flew, SmallerSmiley and Pete all making it through to Q3. Meanwhile, Greg, Akaris, Deaton, Tucker and Dayman are the 5 to leave us between 11th and 15th. Brand new season, of course, means we have no idea where people are going to finish, but we have had some very impressive drives last season. Standout performers from this no assist tier last season. Ross winning the championship by 9 points. Ryan finishing second. Bit of a gap back to Mr. Wiggles and Flew, who finished in 3rd and 4th respectively. Very strong performances from the pair of them. As we already mentioned, Flew 13 points finishes from 13 races last season. Very impressive. One of only 3 drivers to achieve that feat in all of IIRL last season. So fingers crossed Flew will be able to produce some great points finishes here again. Most podiums last season on Tuesday nights went to Ryan, 11 podiums in 13 races. Unfortunately, just not enough wins to get that championship. Ross, most wins last season with 6. And the most pole positions was Chives, now Chivers. So will we see Chivers' 1 lap pace come back to him, or will Ghost, Slapbus and Wiggles take the first pole position of this season? Other constructors combined this season, we are recording both of them, so we have constructors tallies for this tier as normal, but we also have a combined one. All 3 tiers of racing in IRL this season. Just something extra some people are interested in. See how it goes. So Flew is the first one to start a lap in Q3, followed by Ross, Mr. Wiggles, Ghost, and then SmallerSmiley. Coming around the final corner now, we have Chivers in his Ferrari. Just coming down towards the final straight is Slapbus. Pete and Perry are still in the pits. That guy just coming round sector 3 now. He'll be the last of the current track runners to set a lap. Pete and Perry still in the pits, might just be going for one run. Although Perry just coming out of the pits now. Just thinks want to get behind all the drivers on their lap, don't want to impede anyone. Of course, not allowed to impede any other driver in qualifying. Mr. Wiggles just running wide there and getting invalidated. He may not get next lap invalidated, but obviously that is a bit of a setback. So Flew across the line, he'll start the times with a 29.6. Ross will then come across to beat it by 0.2 of a second and do a 29.4. Next across the line is SmallerSmiley. He does a 29.6, slotting himself 0.2 away from pole sitter Ross. Ghost Tomino is into the pits. That is very interesting. Chives comes across to go fastest by 1/10 and do a 29.3. Here comes the slap bus in his Williams, and it's a 28.5, and geez Louise, that is quick. And to my knowledge, Slapbus is using a controller, not a wheel. Just putting that into perspective a little bit for you. That guy popping himself up into P2 there, nice lap. Ahead of his teammate by 0.3 and ahead of Chivers. That is not a bad effort at all from that guy. Possibly could be challenging for a 1:28. But can anyone challenge that lap time from Slapbus? Certainly Mr. Wiggles got close to Ghost and Slapbus in Q2. Potentially they could be the three to look out for. On board with Peryjerry on his debut into Q3 for the first league race of his IRL career. That is pretty good going. Always a little bit of pressure on your first race. You want to improve, impress people even. You want to make your mark, let people know where you stand early on. Never easy to join a league straight away and be quick, especially if you have no idea who you're racing. Beautiful at the moment. Nice lap here from Perry. Missed a couple of apexes here and there, but may not have cost him too much time across the line. And where is it going to be? It's going to be a 29. Well, it's pretty much a 29. It's 28.999. Someone call the police. Perry is quick. So Ghost and Wiggles back out on track. You have Ross for company on that final corner. Mr. Wiggles starting his flying lap now. Ross into the pits, releasing Ghost. And pressure on Wiggles and Ghost here to try and get themselves up into that top end qualifying. 71st at Miami. Gosh, Snacks. Can take the time trial times off the board, but Snacks will still just keep knocking them on. Happy with Q2, says Tucker. Could be a bit quicker. In all, happy with P14. Higher up than expected, mate. Glad to hear that things are looking up. I don't think last season was a true representation of what you're capable of. I think you're going to set this league alight this season. And thank you for the follow, Danny FTC. Appreciate that. Oh, Wiggles is gone. And Ghost has invalidated. Lots of drama here in Q3. 3 drivers without a time with 4 minutes left on the clock. Yeah, appreciate the follow, Danny. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the stream tonight. After quali, we'll have a short 5-minute break. I'll tell you more about our featured driver this week. and then we'll get going with a 27 lap Bahrain Grand Prix. But Wiggles and Ghost will need a bit of a rethink, perhaps. Struggling in Q3. Haven't seen Pete yet, so I'm not quite sure if he's going to emerge in the next few minutes. Flu is now on a new flying lap. Behind him you can see Slapbus weaving in the Williams. 2 AlphaTauris out in Sector 2 right now. Looking for another lap. Chivers just coming out of the pits round the first few corners. He'll be trying to push himself into that top 3 ahead of that guy, possibly Peryjerry. Talk a little bit about the tyre strategies in the 5-minute break and in the formation lap, which obviously is a brand new feature as well. Not brand new feature, the formation lap, but there is a brand new feature which we will talk about later on in case you're not quite aware yet. Slapbus to get pole with a low 28.3. Well, I know one certain Alrays was a great predictor of times. Lewis backed off, so he'll go for another run here. Go on board then with Ross. Actually, we'll go on board with his teammate. He's further along. Just missing that apex at turn 10. Does make a difference missing that apex. And as he hurtles down towards turn 11, he has switched off the old ERS, so he'll go for another run in a minute. His teammate, Ross. Most points last season in all of IIRL. Grand total of 670 points from 38 races. It's an absolutely incredible achievement. Hold the record from season 1 as well with the most points all season. That was 602 points from 44 races. So Ross has got just that much quicker in race. Season 2 compared to season 1. Could season 3 be a natural progression of his race pace as well? Certainly with his good starts so far on this game, that is going to hold him in good stead, and he's currently in 3rd place, just a little bit off of Peryjerry. That is a good lap there from Ross. Everyone out on track now in the final 30 seconds of this session. It's about to get very frantic, and I'm probably going to lose my voice, but let's go for it, eh? Flew into the pits where he retires. He'll start P7 unless those bottom 3 can't get a valid lap time quicker than his. Across the line comes Peryjerry to start a new lap, and SmallerSmiley just gets round to start a new lap too. Checkered flag is about to fall. Chivers is coming round the final corner, currently in P5 on a 29.3. What can he do? He has time for one more run if he wants it, and there was no improvement on that last lap, so it could have been invalidation, and Chives has just been backing off to try and prepare his car for the final run. Checkered flag has fallen. This is it. It's now or never. We don't know who's going to get pole position, but Slapbus currently has a 4/10 lead. And coming around the final corner, I believe, is an AlphaTauri of that guy who drops into the pits and will not qualify ahead of his teammate on this occasion. Ghost comes across the line to do a 28.0 and shock everyone. I'm sure your jaw is hitting the floor as we speak. Pete, first valid run of the session, goes P9. Ross is into the pits. And what about Mr. Wiggles? He comes across the line to go 7th fastest, just behind Chivers. Who have we got? We've got Peryjerry and Slapbus coming round sector 3 now. Slapbus has just seen pole position evade him, but can he get it back? No, he can't. It's an improvement, but it's a 28.4 for Slapbus. And Peryjerry almost beats the Slapbus, a 28.4 of his own. SmallerSmiley crosses the line and will stay in 8th place. And what about Chivers, our featured driver, last one out on track? Can he push his Ferrari further up the grid? No, he can't. Wow. Well, quite often you see the race more exciting than qualifying. Quite often you see qualifying more exciting than the race. I think this is poised beautifully. Ghost taking pole, snatching it at the death by over 3.5 tenths of a second. Congratulations, Ghost. That is a well-deserved pole position. And for Ghost, that is his 4th pole position in IIRL on only his 13th Grand Prix. That just shows you how quick Ghost is on 1 lap pace. Slapbus on the front row alongside Peryjerry on his debut, a P3. That is a great lap too, alongside reigning champion Ross. That guy, Chivers, Wiggles, Smiley, Flew and Pete rounding out the top 10 here tonight. No practice for Ross, plus the new patch, and ends up 4th. I know. Tell me about it. That's poor from Ross. How can he gain 5 places now? Yeah, true. Very true. Tucker impressed with Ghost, as am I. What a lap. And GG's all around. But of course, that is not even the best bit of this race tonight. Points haven't even been divvied out yet. They come in a few minutes' time. We have a few minute break here between the end of quali and the start of the race for the drivers to prepare themselves. Whatever they want to do, we'll talk about the tyre strategy on the formation lap, but we'll tell you a bit more about our featured driver for tonight. I've known Chivers, or Chives as I like to call him, a long time. He's 19 years of age. I asked him where he came from, but he said his mum, which wasn't very helpful. He enjoys F1 in his free time, hobbies and interests, and he is racing on a wheel this season, a Logitech G2 something, he says. His favourite driver of all time, could be F1, could be NASCAR, could be Rally, could be anyone really. He says George Russell, so a newbie on the grids. Relatively new anyway, has impressed Chives. And his best track on this game is France, so watch out for the French Grand Prix. Chivers could be the one to look out for in France. In terms of his racing strengths, he says qualifying pace is his main strength. However, in a brand new game, sometimes you have strengths that you don't even know, and you discover in time. And his hopes and goals for Season 3 is just trying to keep it on track, trying to keep it in the straight and narrow, trying not to crash or DNF. And for those drivers that have been here a while, I've asked them if they consider anyone in the league to be a rival. Chives has said the tyre barrier. So that tells you a little bit about what Chives' intentions are for this season. Sometimes you feel like you're challenging for a championship, whether it be constructors or drivers. Sometimes you just want to finish in the points, sometimes you just don't want to crash. And that is absolutely fine. Where is my teammate? Who is your teammate? Let's have a quick look. So your teammate is Jumbo Flew, and unfortunately he can't make it tonight. Peryjerry and SmallerSmiley reserving tonight. 4 unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. Hopefully we'll see them next week for their first appearance of the season. This race is poised rather beautifully. Ghost is on pole and took it by almost 0.4 of a second from Slapbus and Peryjerry. Will Ghost run away with this? Or will anyone challenge him for the win? Don't count Ross out. Let's get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think is going to be on the podium tonight? Doesn't have to be in any specific order. Don't forget we have Prev at the back of the field in 18th. He could be one to be reckoned. One to be reckoned with in this race, making his way up the field. Doesn't normally leave us in Q1 or Q2, so could be an outside chance of a podium here tonight. There could be a few safety cars to contend with. There could be some spins. After all, it is the first race of the season. Spins are quite common on this game at the very start of the release. Can't wait to go backwards from the start, mate. Believe in yourself. And talking of starts, we'll get going in 20 seconds time. Plenty of changes in the race. Some major changes, in fact. Coming into the pits, you will have to time your turn in to your pit box. We have that on, that immersive feature, which means if you get it perfect, you will shave some time off of your pit stop by roughly a second. So getting that spot on will make a difference perhaps. And also on the formation lap, when you finish it, you will take control of your car as normal. You will have to park up yourself. If you go beyond your grid slot, you will start a little bit further back from the optimum spot, which means you may not get a very good run into turn 1. Plenty of elements to this race. And this is where strategy takes centre stage. Here are the tyres they are running. No one is running the soft compound tyre on the start. Of course, since this new game, since this new F1 season has started, the regulations have changed. Don't have to start on the tyre using Q2 anymore. Free tyre choice for the race. I'm sure we're all aware of that now. Only 5 drivers running the hard compound tyres. Peryjerry in 3rd, SmallerSmiley in 8th, Greg in 11th, Deaton and Tucker in 13th and 14th, respectively. All of the other 13 drivers are running mediums, and that is your predicted pit stop strategy. It's either a medium to hard or a 2-stop. Now, I don't want to reveal too much, but I have done some strategies that are different from that on this game, on this track so far. So we might see someone doing either a hard soft or a medium soft. We'll just have to wait and see if anyone wants to do that here tonight. Predicting 3 missed grid slots. Well, Ghost pulls up and gets it spot on. Slapbus seems to have done it pretty well as well. That guy has missed it. Caris has missed it. This is more exciting than the race. Just seeing who misses their grid slot. Of course, it's no shame if you do miss it. There you can see that McLaren of Caris is starting a bit further back on his grid slot. That is what happens if you miss it. As Prev comes round to take his grid slot, and Padge is wrong. Only 2 people have missed their grid slot. And here come the lights for the start of the Season 3 Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's lights out, and Ross has got an absolutely brilliant start. You can see him there in 4th place on the right hand side of the grid, and he has got an absolute rocket of a start. Unfortunately, this broadcast camera is not very good, but Ghost comes out of turn 1, still in the lead from Slapbus. Ross has overtaken his teammate and ahead into 3rd. SmallerSmiley is really having a good start on those hard tyres, but Peryjerry on the other hand is down to 7th on those hards, so not a good lap so far from Perry, and running wide at turn 4 is Perry, getting overtaken by Flew, and now Mr. Wiggles is all over the back of that Red Bull. And how many times have we seen a Red Bull and a Mercedes go side by side on this track? So far so good. We have Akaris, who has just dropped back by a couple of seconds, but he is still in the running. Tadius Bear and Colucci going side by side into the double left. Tadius Bear ahead now of Colucci, and Mr. Wiggles and Peryjerry are going side by side, and this could be an interesting rivalry over the course of the season. These two similar pace, and we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Peryjerry, his hard tyres may not have fired up for him just yet. Started in 3rd, he's now down to 9th. That is certainly not the start that Perry was hoping for on his debut. Prev, meanwhile, up 2 places already, and looking to make it another one. I'm happy with that. So lap 2, Ghost leads Slapbus, Ross, That Guy, Shivers, Flew, Smiley, Wiggles, Perry and Pete, all in the top 10, as through the field comes Mr. Wiggles. Smaller looking to swing it round on those hard tyres, but just in the end Wiggles had traction and the right line to get that move done. Wiggles now up into 7th place, and as it stands needs a little bit more on Flew if he wants to get the DRS next lap around. DRS will be activated on lap 3, of course. Slapbus, Ross, Ghost on podium with Peryjerry and P4, says Josh. Top 3 is the Slapbus, Flew and Prev, says Padge. Bit of an interesting prediction there with Flew and Prev currently not in podium slots, and Ross has had a mistake somewhere, possibly some contact with either Slapbus or his teammate. We'll have to wait and see what happened there, but Ross is now down to 10th. And maybe this is the nerf that Josh was asking for. Lap 3, DRS is now enabled. You can use it when you're within a car, within 1 second of the car in front, in the DRS zones. The first zone is now on the floor. You can see that little line. See Greg's rear wing opening up. Will give you better straight line speed and a possible overtaking opportunity if you're close enough. Nice start from Tadius Bear. He missed out on Q2 by 0.5 of a second. He's now up 2 places into 14th. Nice start from Tadius Bear, who has spent the last 2 seasons in that Williams car, and we thought he was going to get it again this season, but just got the Haas instead. Featured driver now chives on the cusp of a podium. Didn't have quite enough confidence to say that he was expecting something amazing tonight. Potentially this could be the fight for the final podium spot. We've got Flew 1.7 seconds behind this group, and kept company by Mr. Wiggles in his Mercedes. The top 2 are super close, Ghost and Slapbus. Of course, Slapbus does have the DRS now and is in range, but might just be holding out, trying to waste Ghost's ERS usage. Just have to wait and see. Mr. Wiggles making that move down into turn 1 on Flu. He's now proud owner of 5th place, but I'm sure Mr. Wiggles will be hoping for a little bit more here tonight. 2 seconds now Mr. Wiggles has to gain on this group for P3. Harris is making moves at the back of the field. Was 2 seconds behind on that opening lap, but now almost within DRS range of his good buddy Tucker. Potentially might see a move between those two friends for 17th in a minute. There's no such thing as owner privileges. Chives past that guy on this lap, but a little bit wide, and Chives has had a long-standing problem of time penalties in IIRL. Still yet to see the first time penalty of the season. Slap bus, not close enough to make a move into turn 1 from Ghost. Ghost could be using some energy here to make sure he doesn't lose that lead. Here comes that guy now down the inside of Chivers into turn 1, retaking 3rd, but Chives is very close to the back of that AlphaTauri now and will get the DRS down into turn 4. That guy brakes super late, swings it round the outside. Really good defensive work, and unfortunately for Chives, there was no way he is going to get through that gap. Good defending there from that guy. Thank you for the follow, DHR Gratz. Appreciate that, man. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the stream. You are more than welcome here. 3 streams on this channel a week. Tuesday is our no assist tier. Assist tier 1 will be on Thursdays. Assist tier 2 on Sundays at 7:30 PM GMT. That is UK time. Hope you enjoy your time here on our channel. Oh, and Chives has lost it! Just saw him there flying off the track in the background, and unfortunately for him, that is a spin. Chives' good work so far has just been undone a little bit. Meanwhile, here comes Peryjerry now. Has the slipstream on Ross, who is trying to get past SmallerSmiley. Ross has the better tyres right now, with the mediums giving a bit more grip at this stage in the race. And Ross with the DRS, SmallerSmiley might get double overtaken here by Perry if Perry is close enough. SmallerSmiley trying to outbrake Ross into turn 1. Ross gives him space. Good defensive work there from Ross. And meanwhile, Perry now looking very aggressive behind SmallerSmiley. Battle of the 2 debutants. And on this occasion, Smiley is the one who is the happiest. Beautiful camera shot of that midfield pack. Ross in 6th, defending from Smiley, Perry, Pete and Chivers. Recovering after that spin. Pete just missing the apex there into turn 8, and Chives looking like he wanted to go down the inside, but not quite enough room for that. As things stand, we're still only on lap 6 of 29, and there is still plenty of room left, and Chives goes for another spin in the background, keeps it out of the wall, which is good news for him. But he will probably need a safety car if he wants to fight his way back up. And what's happened here? Flu. A spin for Flu. Coming out of turn 11. 2 spins in the course of 10 seconds for 2 different drivers. And Thaddeus Bear also was spun at turn 11. So lap 6 is the lap of spins. 3 drivers losing a big chunk of time. This then puts Mr. Wiggles firmly in control of P4. Ross now up to 5th after his spin earlier on. And Greg is under pressure here from Flu. It's going to be close, side by side. Greg gives him space. And Flew, nice move there. Good respect from Greg. Do generally see the best and competitive and the most respectful racing in this tier. No assists. You have got to be very respectful and trust each other out on track. Ross finding it a little bit tricky to shift smaller at this moment in time. Has got the move done a couple of laps ago. Perry is still struggling a little bit to get past smaller. Pete now on his return, challenging the two debutants. So 3 pretty new drivers all in a fight together. Very interesting to see. Ghost still leads Slapbus by less than a second, and Slapbus is doing really well here at just making sure Ghost doesn't run away with this, but making sure he's putting him under pressure. As here comes Peryjerry down the inside of Smaller. Smaller giving him space, and Smiley will now have the DRS. Oh, the spin! Keeps it pretty nicely. Doesn't lose too much time in that spin. Might lose out here to Greg. Under braking at turn 4. Smiley will have to be careful he doesn't spin again on those warm tyres. And now Dayman sniffing an opportunity at some points here. Chivers has passed his teammate Krev up into 12th. Trying to fight his way back up the field after his spin, after his 2 spins earlier on. That guy's still defending from Wiggles. Our first retirement of the season is Tidiest Bear. Was 30 seconds off the pack. Just thinks that's enough for tonight. Race to forget perhaps for Tidiest Bet. Well, it's a 22 race season, anything can still happen. Car's proving to be very difficult indeed, Tay. As predicted, Karis and Tucker engaged in a very close fight here for what is now 14th place. Smaller's passed Greg down into turn 1 for 9th. Thank you for the follow, Vapid74. One driver who I'm proud to announce is returning to IIRL. In fact, he was part of APS, which was the old IIRL, and won a championship back in the day. Interested to see what Vapid can achieve. My teammate at Ferrari on Thursday nights. Very happy to see you, mate. Oh, Tucker goes for a spin as well. It certainly is. That spin corner, turns 5 and 6, very tricky to contend with. Unfortunately, Tucker falls victim. I'm sure that will not be the only spin we see on this channel this week. Spoke too soon. Yep. Well, that's the thing. I could speak for the whole stream and no one could spin. But as soon as someone spins, they say it's commentator's curse. I can't win. Gap starting to form now. Lap 10 of 29. This race is in full swing. Closest fights on track are the one for the lead, where Ghost has still got this half a second lead over Slapbus, but these two are just running away with it slightly. That guy now 7 seconds off of this pair and under big pressure from Mr. Wiggles. Ross has dropped Peryjerry by 3 and a bit seconds now, but still finds himself 6 seconds adrift of this fight of the fight between that guy and Mr. Wiggles for the final podium slot. Ghost and Slapbus have been the two constants so far. That guy's been very solid so far. Evident that he hasn't had the pace of these top two, but he has been super consistent out in P3. Mr. Wiggles has been on his tail for a number of laps. We'll go on board with Slapbus just to see what kind of game he's playing here, because I believe it is a game. If it wasn't a game, we would have definitely seen at least one overtake in these first 10 laps. You can see on his steering wheel that little orange horizontal bar just below the gear number. If that goes green, it means he's using energy. And down towards turn 4, he wasn't using any. If he did use some, he would definitely be close enough to make a move. He's just being cautious here, that's what Slapbus is doing. Ghost needs to make sure that he doesn't fall into the trap of using all of his energy. Slapbus therefore would have a massive advantage in this second half of the race. So far these two proving to be two diamonds in the rough so far. Pete is now back within DRS range of Peryjerry, and that battle for P6 is getting a little bit closer. Don't expect to see any pit stops soon. If anyone is pitting onto the soft tyre, expect to see them into the pits around lap 20 or 21. If those hard runners are boxing onto the mediums, expect to see them in possibly around about lap 15 or 16. And if those medium runners are boxing onto the hards, expect to see them into the pits around lap 15 or 16. So no pit stops for now. Pete has DRS range. Wiggles, Slapbus and Colucci all have DRS on the car ahead of them as things stand. Chivers is ahead of Dayman and starting to chip away at Greg's 2-second lead. Currently Greg is holding the final point of the night. These two are very well within a rhythm now. They're losing out fractions this lap to that guy, so pace advantage is not on at the minute. That guy is starting to close slightly. Mr. Wiggles, I'm sure, is playing the exact same game as Slapbus. Remember, it's not about how many laps you lead, it's about leading on the last lap and crossing that line first. Ross 6.2 seconds behind Mr. Wiggles, and you'd have a sneaking suspicion that if Ross didn't spin earlier on, he would either be firmly in control of third or definitely in this battle for third, as Flew is going to be the first to pit this season. He gets off those old medium tyres and is onto the hard compound. Will anyone respond to that pit stop? Of course, in your pit stops now, you have to time it right. Press the A button, which turns you into your pit box, and if you get it in an optimum timing bracket, you shave some time off of your pit stops to around about 2.4 seconds. So pit stops could be very key. You can easily lose time on them now. Chives is now within a few tenths, as Ghost possibly tried to bait Slapbus there into pitting. Chives on the mediums, Greg is on the hards, which means Greg's tyres are going to last a little bit longer here, but Chives' mediums aren't quite done yet, and it's allowing him to get up into 9th. Two of those now, both into the points after Flu's pit stop, but Chives won't keep in the points for long. Mr. Wiggles now into the pits for hard compound tyres. Pete has followed suit, and Chives has done the same. This strategy battle now is in full swing. Colucci into the pits, ditching those mediums, currently 17th and in the final position here tonight. Prev is gaining on Dayman and almost within DRS range. Prev using a lot of energy between turn 7 and between turn 8 and 9, trying to get within DRS range, and unfortunately hasn't quite got it for this straight, but he is now only 8 tenths away from the back of that Mercedes. The real question will be when these top two pit. That is going to be the biggie, because although you do have a lot colder tyres coming out of the pits now, still, if Slapbus pitted 1 lap before Ghost, and they're on the same strategy, might very well see a change for the lead of the race. Dayman and Prev pit together, so that is probably why Prev was using so much energy. Here comes Pete, who looked to be going into the pits but has already pitted, of course. Flew now with brand new tyres on his car as well. 1 lap for Pete, squeezing Pete slightly, bit of wheel contact but all harmless, I think. And Flew up into 9th, 16 seconds behind Mr. Wiggles, who was in a strong battle with that guy. Those top 4 plus Akaris haven't pitted yet, and you'd think that if they are planning to go onto the hard tyres, they would have pitted by now in response to all the other drivers who have. So potentially those top 4 are going for a medium soft strategy. Don't be surprised if they do. Ghost and Slapbus still leading the way. That guy is matching their pace, isn't really losing ground, still 7.2 seconds behind. Ross starting to close that gap just slightly, dropping now within 7 seconds of his teammates. But still, plenty of space between these drivers. Looking at that track map, you really don't know who's leading that race. It is Ghost, who is coming into sector 3 now. Slapbus is very close now, behind the Alfa Romeo. Chivers is past Akaris. Akaris yet to pit, so those mediums are going to be around about 40 to 50% wear right now. Chives on brand new hard tyres. And here comes Slapbus. He's using some overtake here. He's got the DRS open. Will we see a move into turn 1? This is the closest we've seen them on track in the first 17 laps. Slapbus going for a switchback. Ghost doesn't have the optimum line into turn 2. Slapbus gets a really good exit. Ghost is using some overtake here to stay ahead. Slapbus with the DRS, but not quite close enough. That is good defending there from Ghost. Has to be said. Peryjerry into the pits now. Those hard tyres are off. Those medium tyres are on for the remainder of the race. This is the closest battle we have seen between these two who have been leading this race from the very start. Their pace in quali is almost so similar. Ghost taking pole position by just under 0.4 of a second, but Slapbus has proven that Ghost is not quick enough to get him out of that DRS range. Instead, they've been playing the long game. And in the second half of this race, we are going to see a few more moves. Maybe Slapbus is trying to... Maybe he's been conserving his tyres, his energy, and thinks, right, now is the time, and I'm going to pounce. Maybe Ghost is struggling on his tyres, perhaps. All of these questions are unanswered. But we do know this, is that in this next 12 or so laps, we are going to see something happen. And as we say that, Slapbus has gone for the undercut. Question is though, what tyres is Slapbus going on? I have a feeling it's going to be soft tyres. And they are. Soft tyres for Slapbus. Ghost has to respond this lap. And he is really pushing now, Ghost. Ghost has extended that gap to that guy by another half a second in this last lap. Ghost now realises that he needs to push super hard on this in lap. Has to respond to Slapbus, otherwise he will get undercut. SmallerSmiley into the pits, ditching those hards for the mediums. And it's going to be super close between Smiley and Perry coming out of the pits. Here comes Peryjerry, and Smiley, by pitting one lap earlier, has got that undercut done. That's a nice move there from Smaller. And from Perry, sorry. Good move from Perry with the undercut. And has got 7th place in his grasp. Akaris mimicking Slapbus, pitting at the end of lap 17 onto a set of soft tyres. He's going to have a massive tyre advantage on everyone ahead of him up until SmallerSmiley in P8. And in comes Ghost. Had to respond. From Ghost's point of view, we hope that was a fantastic in-lap. In comes that guy. Soft tyres on the car for Ghost. I imagine that guy will do the same. Yes, it is another set of soft tyres going on those cars. And where is Slapbus? He is ahead of Ghost Tomino. That was a beautiful strategy call, and that outlap was absolutely perfect. Not only has he overtaken Ghost, but Ghost has cold tyres for half a lap, and Slapbus has over a second gap. That could have been the move that has won Slapbus this race. What an incredible strategy call from Slapbus. Ross leads this race. He has not pitted yet. He is the only one, with the exception of Greg in 6th and Tucker in 13th, who are yet to pit. Deton has just boxed for mediums. That guy trying to hunt down Mr. Wiggles for what will be a net P3 once Ross comes out of the pits. But when will Ross pit? He's come around the final corner now. And he does pit. Ross has pitted on the end of lap 19. And I imagine this is going to be a set of soft tyres for Ross. It is indeed. Slapbus leads by 2.2 seconds now. That strategy call was absolutely sublime, and it could have won him this race. Ghost staying out a lap too late, it would seem. Slapbus has that advantage. Ross coming out now behind his teammate, but not by a lot. And after Ross's early spin, no one would have expected him to see him that close to his teammate after a pit stop. Wiggles holds third place at the moment, but is coming under increasing pressure from the two AlphaTauri drivers. Reg is in 6th and yet to pit, so although he is only 1.4 away from Ross, that is going to extend when Greg comes and ditches those hard tyres. Lap 20 of 29. We are well into this race, and it has been a classic. It's not been the most dramatic, it's not been the most frantic. It's been very calm, very composed. We've only seen one incident of wheel touching. It's been a very clean race. There's been a few spins here and there, so in that respect it has been quite dramatic. Ghost sets a new fastest lap of the race, and he has closed that gap now to 1.6 seconds. Ghost is on the charge, and can he defy all odds here and get back within DRS range of Slapbus, who has taken the lead in brilliant fashion? Battle between that guy and Wiggles. That guy didn't quite have enough room on the inside of turn 3 here. This is going to help Ross, who is going to catch up to his teammate. A late move there from that guy. Down the inside of Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wiggles wasn't expecting it. Bit of contact. That guy forcing his way through. Back up into 3rd. And now finds himself on the podium as things stand. Ross's job is pretty simple here. So here comes Mr. Wiggles down the inside. That guy on the outside on brand new tyres, but has to back off. Losing traction perhaps on the dirty line of the track. And this then has brought Ross back into play for a potential podium. Padge did joke earlier on that Ross would somehow find his way back on the podium, and honestly that could be a likely outcome here tonight. Two drivers ahead of them, that guy and Wiggles, with red flashing light at the back of their car. That means that they are down to their last 25% or less of energy. Ross here, if he's saved his battery well, could find himself in a beautiful position to try and get these two here. And there goes Mr. Wiggles down the insides and losing out on 4th. That guy and Ross now. Rule number 1, don't crash into your teammate. This is super close. Ross has got the better line, he's got the better traction, and he's got the podium back on the cards. Ross, beautiful move there, ahead of his teammate. Mr. Wiggles is still in this fight, so don't count him out just yet. And of course, don't count out that guy, but what Ross needs to do now is try and build a 1 second gap on those two behind. Brilliant racing. This race has sparked into life, and all of a sudden, Ghost is now 10 seconds behind Slapbus. Ghost has had a spin in the last few moments, and his race win could be gone in a moment. All Slapbus needs to do now is make sure he doesn't get any penalties, doesn't spin himself or doesn't crash, and Slapbus will have earned this race win in a very, very satisfying way. And Ghost is gone again. Final corner, he's spun. 2 quick spins in succession for Ghost, and it sets up a massive fight now for 2nd place. Slapbus now is going to win this by a country mile. But of question is, who is going to end up on the podium? Here comes Ross now. Round the outside of turn 4. Looks like a slight bit of contact, but nothing too harmless. Bit of a slide there from Ross. Ghost has the inside line and the better traction and maintains second place. That guy and Wiggles are lying in wait, and Ghost is off the track once again. Those tyres are going to be so hot right now for Ghost, and he just needs to calm down a little bit, just needs to get some composure back into this race. Otherwise, he's going to lose out on a podium to both AlphaTauris. Ghost is still very able to get second here. Just needs to have a little bit of composure in this next lap or two. Stick within DRS range of Ross. Mounts up one final charge in the last 6 laps. This race has turned on its head. Ghost led for 16 laps, the first 16 laps of this race. Slapbus undercut him and built up a DRS range on Ghost. Ghost then tried to bring it back down, but in doing so has had 2 spins, which has cost him not only a shot of the win here, currently has cost him second place as well. I mean, we joked earlier that Ross would still get on the podium after his spin that sent him down to 10th place, but no one really would have expected Ross to get back up to second place with 5 laps left of this race. I mean, maybe some people would be like, oh yeah, I knew Ross was going to do that, but deep down we knew that it would be a massive challenge for Ross to get back on the podium tonight, and it's just a testament to his race pace how he's managed to do that here tonight. That guy, he's had a brilliant race, it has to be said, and he'd be unfortunate not to get on the podium tonight. Mr. Wiggles too. No one would have any complaints if Mr. Wiggles got on the podium himself. He's had some great pace here tonight in the race. Oh, Ross is gone! Just when you think this race has sorted itself out, another flash, and something has changed. It's a yellow flag in Sector 2, no safety car is deployed. Ross has dropped to 5th. He should be pretty comfortable ahead of Peryjerry, unless he's got some damage that we don't know about. But now Ghost finds himself back in second, and the battle for the podium is still on between that guy and Mr. Wiggles. This is absolutely incredible stuff. You just don't know where these are finishing, and that guy has had a bit of a slide out of turn 2, and he's very vulnerable now to Mr. Wiggles, who has the DRS and has the outside line. That guy trying to force his way up the inside, misses his apex slightly, and that's why they touch wheels. Still side by side now, going into turn 5 and turn 6. Wiggles slings it round the outside, brakes later, and gets 3rd place back. There's no such thing as a commentator's curse, Adrian. But this is exactly why I was excited to be back streaming and for Season 3 to be underway. This has been a beautiful race and a brilliant show of driving here tonight. Ghost has now a 2-second lead over Mr. Wiggles, and his second place is looking all the more guaranteed with every passing corner. Slapbus leading this race by 18 seconds. He has not put a foot wrong in quali, even though he didn't get pole position tonight. He's stuck in there for 16 laps behind Ghost, pulled off a brilliant strategy call, and now is leading this race by 18 seconds and will almost guarantee himself a full 25 points here tonight. Meanwhile, this battle for the podium is still going on, and we still don't know who's going to be on the podium. Is it going to be Mr. Wiggles, who is on hard tyres? Is it going to be that guy who is on soft tyres? And you might think that's a bit of a no-brainer, but those soft tyres are now 7 laps old. Their tyre wear is going to be around about 30 or 35% wear now for that guy. Every passing corner could be an opportunity now for Wiggles to build a gap. And there you can see it, that guy has not had the best few corners. And there's a chance here that that guy won't get DRS. And the first time penalty of this whole season has come 26 laps in. That is incredible stuff for every one of these drivers to keep it clean from time penalties. And unfortunately for that guy, that is a really bad time to get one. Mr. Wiggles now just needs to make sure he doesn't even need to finish third on track right now. He can just back off, make sure he doesn't get any more warnings, and almost guarantee himself a podium here tonight. It's been an absolutely fantastic race. Lap 27 of 29. Slapbus leads Ghost by 17.5 seconds, and Slapbus has not put a single foot wrong. And based on that gap, you think, well, what's happened to Ghost's pace? 2 spins in the latter stage of this race has cost him a shot at this race win. But unfortunately for Ross, Ghost's second place is now almost assured, due to Ross's second spin of the night, which, well, he was in second place after that first spin somehow, but that second spin will almost guarantee himself 5th place, unless he can get within 3 seconds of that guy in 4th. No drivers have DRS at this moment in time. Featured driver Chives is closing up to the back of Smaller for 7th place. Perry and Smaller, 2 debutants here tonight, having really solid races. 6th and 7th for them at the minute. Pete returning to the league here today. His first race in quite a while. He's in 11th place and looks like he won't be picking up a point. Not quite close enough to Greg in the final couple of laps, but it has been a strong performance from Pete tonight. Flew has gone under the radar a little bit. He was the first to pit, so his tyres won't be in the best condition right now, but is finding himself in 9th place and will be extending his points finishing streak in no assist to at least 14 races now, which is an absolutely incredible achievement. Slapbus taking his foot off the gas slightly. Lost a second to Ghost in that last lap or so, but pressure's on Ghost to remain quick here. Mr. Wiggles is starting to reduce that gap, and that crossover point of tyre wear and tyre performance is happening. Mr. Wiggles here could be on for a 2nd place. He's down to 1.2 seconds on Ghost Tomino, who holds 2nd place, but just by the skin of his teeth. If Mr. Wiggles here can get within DRS range for this final lap, we may see one final move in this race. Ross is 5 seconds behind that guy, so 2 seconds for him between now and the end of the next lap, and he will find himself into 4th place ahead of his teammate. But the real question now is Mr. Wiggles close enough to make a move on Ghost in the final lap of this race? Slapbus is going to win, and he's coming around turn 4 now. Mr. Wiggles is on a charge. Ghost's soft tyres are now around about 50% tyre wear. Mr. Wiggles has an advantage in this stage in the race, and there might be one final move going down into turn 11 after this next DRS range. How much energy has Ghost got left? That red light isn't flashing at the back of the car, so Ghost has some energy to deploy here on the final lap of the race. But this is going to be so close between Wiggles and Ghost. Wiggles is super close now, bit of a slide. DRS is open. This is the battle for 2nd. Final lap of the race. Here goes Mr. Wiggles round the outside. Ghost just taps the apex, which puts his car a little bit into Mr. Wiggles' line. Has to back off for now. Slapbus coming round the final corner. He will take the checkered flag and the 4 points here in Bahrain. It's been an absolutely flawless race from Slapbus and wins in Bahrain, but the podium is not quite sorted yet. Ghost leads into the final corner from Mr. Wiggles. Does Mr. Wiggles have one final charge left? There goes the flashing light, and it's Ghost who just hangs on to second place from Mr. Wiggles. That was a valiant effort from Wiggles, and unfortunate perhaps to be third, but what a fight on the end. That guy finishes fourth, a super solid race from him, has to be said. Very well deserved of his 12 points here tonight. Ross just finishing half a second behind his teammate, but would be so far up the field if he didn't have those 2 spins. Ross finishes in 5th place and taking home 10 points. Peryjerry and SmallerSmiley, brilliant fight from them at the end, and taking home some well-deserved points for their teams on their debuts. Chivers, featured driver tonight, had some great pace tonight, but unfortunately a couple of spins from him, a few mistakes here and there. He finishes in the points, as well as Flu and Greg, who is Mr. Consistent as always. Great strategies from them to remain in the points. Pete on his return 11th. Prev just not quite had the pace today and finishes in 12th. Just the one retirement here tonight. Tidiest Bear retiring early on in the race in the pits. But what about this guy, Slapbus? We knew he was quick. He was so close to pole position. In the end, Ghost took it by 0.4 of a second, but in that race, Slapbus proved his worth. Brilliant strategy, undercutting Ghost, getting the DRS range, putting Ghost under pressure, who eventually did spin a couple of times, and Slapbus took this win in brilliant style. Ghost and Wiggles battle to the line on the podium, the pair of them, well deserved. Further down the field, Deton in 13th, the Karis in 14th, Dayman finishes in 15th place. Tucker and Colucci both a lap down. And Tidiest Bear, as we said, retiring in the pits earlier on. Well, Slapbus, this is only his 3rd race in IIRL. He got a podium in one of those races, make it his 2nd podium and his 1st race win of IIRL. Congratulations to you, Slapbus. Well deserved. Ghost, a very well deserved podium, but what could have been for Ghost takes home his 3rd podium in 13 IIRL races, and still that 1st win for Ghost is still eluding him. But I'm sure, based on what we've seen tonight, that is going to happen at some point this season. Mr. Wiggles starting the season off in style, picking up where he left off. 82 races now for IIRL, and that is 12th podium. Congratulations to Mr. Wiggles on another podium. Well, I said we were in for an absolute corker. Bahrain always throws up some surprises. The first race of the season, some people spin, some people absolutely nail it. Slapbus has nailed it tonight, but I'm sure that this is not just going to be a one-horse race. There are plenty of drivers here who have proven that they have incredible pace tonight. Remains for me to decide a driver of the day before we go, and I have to say I can't look further than Slapbus. He forced Ghost into the mistake, he smashed it on the strategy, he absolutely flawless race. So congratulations to that bus, you are driver of the day here tonight at Bahrain. Well, we hope you've really enjoyed the first race of the season. Catch us on Thursday night for Assist Tier 1, Sunday night for Assist Tier 2. All races happening on this channel at 7:30 PM GMT, that is UK time. Before we go, we're just going to raid another channel, something we're doing on this channel now. We're going to raid another league, and we hope that you show them some love on the way in. We're going to raid RSF1 Racing. You might know of them, you might not, but we're going to raid them now. So I hope you join along. Drop them a follow. Be nice to them, as I'm sure you all are. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for the 5 new follows tonight. We really appreciate that, and we hope you join us on our future races. So let's join a race in Spain, shall we? Have a really good evening, and we'll see you back here on Thursday night. Peace.